Hey there Mario Kart fans, are you tired of racing on the same old tracks? Well, buckle up because we got 50 new and creative ideas for Mario Kart tracks that will shake up your racing game. Some of these ideas are twists on tracks that already exist, some of them are based on other Mario and Nintendo characters, and some of them are just brand new. So let's get started and rev up those engines. Starting off, we have Goomba's Garden. We got Mario Circuit, Luigi Circuit, Daisy Circuit, Peach Gardens, but we've never gotten a track themed around Bowser's biggest enemy, the Goomba. A track set in a lush mushroom garden with the Goombas everywhere and piranha plants munching at you, this would be fun. Next up, we have Tatanga's Space Station. Tatanga is a mysterious alien from an unknown planet that you see in Super Mario Land on the Game Boy. Given how cool his spaceship looks, it only makes sense he'd have a massive space station with obstacles like laser beams and robotic enemies to dodge. Think of this as kind of like a Bowser's Castle, but set in space. Number 3, Amusement Park Adventure. Baby Park has teased us for many years with all these cool rides that we don't get to ride on. An amusement park that we actually get to go, oh, maybe for a second I'm driving in a haunted house. Oh, maybe for a second I'm driving on a roller coaster. Then I'm doing tricks off a Ferris wheel. There's so many cool ideas here. Next, we have Birdo's Eggstravaganza. This would be a track set in a colorful springtime garden with eggs being launched at you, presumably from Birdo. Next, we have Luxury Resort Run. This would be a track set in a luxury hotel, dodging in and out of, pools and spas. Kind of like the 3-star hotel from Koopa's Tycoon Town in Mario Party 8. I don't know if anyone gets that reference. Let me know in the comments down below. Next, we have Dory's Deep Sea Dive, which would be a fully underwater track mixed between this section of Dolphin Shoals and this section of Wario Shipyard. Out of all the defunct Nintendo series, Golden Sun is probably the most beautiful. Even though the original game is obviously, done in a pixel art style, the locations are just stunning, and a track that would allow you to drive around the, areas of Golden Sun would be so cool. Just look at the pictures on screen and you'll know what I mean. For number 8, we have Little Mac's Punch-Out. Think Ribbon Road, where everything's super big around you and all the carts are super tiny, but instead of being in a kid's bedroom, you're in a boxing ring. There could even be a boxing match going on maybe the third lap, so you gotta dodge and weave as Little Mac, is maybe boxing Glass Joe and his feet are dropping down onto the racetrack, potentially squishing racers. This could be so neat. Number 9, we have Factory Fallout. Toad's Factory is awesome, and I'd love a sequel to this track. Give this track more moving machinery and some toxic waste to avoid. Or number 10, Robot Factory Race, a track set in a robot factory where there's moving parts and lasers to dodge. This next one's one of my favorites, but before we get to number 11, it's 2023, a new year, and I have a challenge. Please, if you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button so we can pass Wii U Stop, our arch nemesis, our biggest rivals in subscribers. Please help us out. If you're not already subscribed, hit the button down below. Alright, number 11, we have Hollywood Hustle. Imagine driving in and out of movie sets or maybe in a huge movie lot. One second you're in a western, one second you're in a, sci-fi. That would be cool. And Circus Circuit, bit of a tongue twister there, would also be super neat. Driving across a tightrope in a big top circus, so awesome. Pirates Plunder would be awesome too, a track set in a pirate cove with treasures, anchors, cannons, and pirate ships to avoid. And then a complete 180 to Diamond Dash. No, not these diamonds. This would be a track set in a baseball diamond. And hey, this already kind of happens a little bit in LA Laps. Moo Moo Meadows is awesome, but all the other farm animals are feeling left out. Farmyard Folly would allow you to drive in barns with a lot more other animals. And for number 16, I just want any track from Kirby's Air Ride. I love Kirby's Air Ride. If they could bring back any track, that would be so cool. For number 17, Starfy's Underwater Adventure. Starfy's Underwater Adventure would be a great way to return to this little star's life. I love the juxtaposition between obviously a star, which is up in the sky, and the track being set underwater. Canyon Caper would be super cool. Imagine driving around the Grand Canyon. Or if we wanted to keep it in the Mario world, we could do Conch-Door Canyon from Super Mario 3D World. Superhero City Circuit would be awesome. Imagine a massive city with tall buildings and heroic landmarks, and maybe you can glide across the skyline and feel like a real superhero. Jungle Jaunt could be just another awesome Donkey Kong course, and Tetra's Pirate Plunder could be pretty similar to Peach Beach with the pirate ships shooting cannonballs at you, but give it a Wind Waker theme because Tetra is awesome. You might be able to tell that I want a sports themed track because Football Field Frenzy would be the same thing as the baseball one from earlier, but in an American football field. Here we have Neon Nights. I love the aesthetic of Neo Bowser City. The nighttime Neo Tokyo-esque buildings are so cool. What if we mixed that with a track like Mute City that had a bunch of high-speed sections, so you're really zooming past these buildings? Toy Store Tumble would be a track set in a toy store. You'd be able to dodge toys and stuffed animals on shelves, and then Sports Arena Showdown, this could just be all the sports arenas. Maybe Maybe you glide through a basketball hoop, then onto a diving board in a pool. Not to be beat out by Rainforest Rally, track number 26. Diving through waterfalls would be awesome. And then what about Beachside Brawl, which could be a beach resort with palm trees and sand castles you have to navigate. Tears of the Kingdom is coming out soon, so what if you could drive through under Hyrule, because that's one of the only things we know, will be in Tears of the Kingdom, at least, if this initial trailer is anything to believe. Hyrule Caves would be sick, and going from sick to sweet, we have Candy Factory Chaos. Moving to number 30, we have Futuristic Lab Frenzy, Futuristic Laboratory with test tubes and machines to dodge. It kind of reminds me of Helix's stage from ARMS. And then Food Factory Frenzy. This would just be like the candy one, but with not candy, with actual food. Sunshine Airport is awesome, but most of the track takes place outside of the airport. Airport Sprint would be awesome if you're driving from terminal to terminal and maybe, you go inside a plane or something. That would be neat. And then Construction Chaos could be a city under construction with scaffolding like in New Donk City or, stuff like that. Moving on to Tingle's Treasure Hunt, this could be a track set in a dark forest featuring obstacles like falling rupees and Tingle's hot air balloons. And then for number 35, I don't know anything about Xenoblade Chronicles. My sister has played all the games, she loves them, but all I know is that I'll see screenshots and I'm like, wow, I really wish I had the time and patience to give a game like this a shot, because any location from that game would make a beautiful Mario Kart track. Like, just visually, this game, all the games have such interesting locales. So yeah, I want a Xenoblade track, sue me. Then we have Fairy Tale Circuit coming in at 36. A track set in a fairy tale kingdom with castles and enchanted forests to explore, that sounds cool. But not as cool as number 37, Zoo Sprint. We talked before about seeing a bunch of barnyard animals, but driving through a full zoo and maybe an aquarium section would be awesome. Let's go back to Ribbon Road. The idea of being super small in a kid's bedroom or something, that reminds me of something. In fact, it reminds me of a series. Yeah, Chibi Robo basically did that whole gimmick as an entire game, and Chibi Robo's Time Trouble, which could be a track set in a cluttered living room with toys and gadgets to navigate, would be super cool. Falcon's Fury, we need another F-Zero track. The two that are in the game are two of the best tracks in the game. I mean, Falcon's Fury, I don't even know what they could do for this, but it would be awesome. And then think about this, Nabbit's Thieving Run. What do we know about Nabbit? Well, not much, but he does love to steal things. Maybe a track in a city where you're like driving into a bank and then driving out like a busted hole in the wall, and meanwhile there are a bunch of cop cars zooming around as obstacles because they're trying to chase Nabbit, who just robbed this bank. Pikmin 4 is coming out, so for number 41, Pikmin Planet. That would be super duper cool. There are all sorts of creatures that they could pull for this. And for number 42, let's talk about Grumble Volcano for a minute. It's a great track, and I love the gimmick that the track crumbles, but for a track, set about being in a volcano, you don't spend that much time actually in the volcano. Volcano Valley would be a track fully set in the volcano and act kind of as a sequel to Grumble Volcano. Volcano. I just said that word so many times, it sounds like nothing now. Haunted Swamp Safari would be a safari set in a haunted swamp with murky water and spooky creatures to avoid. And then Medieval Madness, bro. What would be cooler than riding in a medieval village, going up to a castle, giant dragons jumping down? Hey, there are dragons in Mario now, and you could even dress up as a knight in Odyssey. It has to happen. Haunted Hallways would be kind of like Twisted Mansion, but with more of a focus on the supernatural, like flying books and spectral enemies. Next, coming into the final 5, we have the Power Plant. Driving within a power plant with a bunch of, electrical currents around acting as enemies, or I guess more so obstacles, would be a super neat gimmick, and not one that I think we've had in Mario Kart. Space Station Sprint, man, I love the idea of going into an actual space station. There could be full zero gravity sections. It would be so cool. Music Festival Mania would be awesome if you drove on the stage of a music festival while a band was performing, and then you had to like dodge people in the crowd. Kind of like Electrodrome, but not really a full, EDM thing, and more just like an actual music festival. Next, we have Ski Resort Slalom. If you ever played the game Wii Ski, you'd kind of know what I'm talking about. Basically the final lap of Mount Wario, but like as a whole thing. And then last but not least, Cappy's Cap Collector. A track set in the Cap Kingdom of Mario Odyssey, but when you get to the end of the first lap, you get teleported by Cappy to another kingdom. Each lap would be a different kingdom from Mario Odyssey, and this is insanely ambitious, but screw it, it's my list, and I think that's so cool. Wait, just wait, we have bonus tracks to talk about, 2 of them in particular, and I didn't include these in the actual list of ideas because, well, these aren't my ideas. In fact, they are already leaked. I'm not gonna go go into how they were leaked or even really much about what will be in these tracks, and obviously these are leaks, so take them with a grain of salt. They're like from the source code of Mario Kart Tour. If you want to learn more about that, my friend SwiftJar actually has 2 great videos on both of these tracks. I'll link them in the description. But basically these tracks, one of them is a bathroom themed track and one of them is a Yoshi's Island themed track. Both of these will probably be coming to the Booster Course Pass because they are coming to Tour first, and there are like Tour Nitro tracks in the Booster Pass. I don't know, I think these tracks could be really cool. I'm mainly looking forward to the Yoshi's Island track because, I don't know, I personally think that Yoshi has some great tracks in Mario Kart. Like Yoshi's Circuit is awesome, Yoshi's Valley is, you know, really neat with the alternating paths, but then you got some stinkers like Yoshi Falls that are, you know, a little bit underwhelming. So a Yoshi's Island themed track that actually pays homage to those games would be super, super cool, and a bathroom track is pretty cool too. I mean, you know, any track that's kind of like in a more human, like house-like setting, kind of like Ribbon Road, is really neat. I mean, I suggested a bunch of those in this video, so you already know how I feel about those. But yeah, I wanted to toss these in here and kind of give my quick thoughts on them because I'm not going to make a dedicated video about these 2 leaks slash data mines, but I did want to mention them because I think they're pretty cool. And if they end up coming to the Booster Course Pass like everyone thinks, then I mean, hey, that's awesome and a really, really, really cool addition. But yeah, check out SwiftJar's videos. I'll link them again both in the description if you want to learn more about like how they're actually leaked and whatnot, because he goes, you know, way more in depth than I will here. But yeah, just wanted to point that out. If you loved these fresh and innovative track ideas, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more creative content like this. We'll be bringing you even more wild and wacky track concepts in the future, so don't miss out on any of the fun. Subscribe now and join our community of Mario Kart fans. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm Thomas from the Switch Stop signing off. Peace.